The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 9, tells a beautiful story about King David and a man named Mephibosheth. This story takes place after David becomes king, but it stems from a promise he made many years earlier, a promise that would shape his actions and decisions. David had been a young shepherd when he met and befriended Jonathan, the son of King Saul. Their friendship was immediate and profound. Jonathan and David forged a deep bond of friendship, a covenant of love, even though they came from different worlds. Their connection transcended their backgrounds and circumstances. They pledged loyalty to each other, promising to care for each other's families, even after death. This vow was sacred and unbreakable. This promise would become especially significant later on, as it was a testament to their enduring friendship. King Saul, driven by jealousy and fear, turned against David, seeing him as a threat to his throne. Jonathan remained loyal to his friend, protecting David from his father's wrath. He risked his own life to ensure David's safety. Tragically, both Saul and Jonathan died in battle, leaving their families vulnerable, and David's promise hanging in the balance. David's commitment to his covenant with Jonathan would soon be put to the ultimate test. David, now king, remembered the covenant he had made with his beloved friend Jonathan. He longed to show kindness to anyone who remained from Saul's house, fulfilling the promise he had made. This promise was not just a mere formality. It was a heartfelt commitment to honor the memory of his dear friend. David inquired if anyone was left of Jonathan's family to whom he could show kindness for Jonathan's sake. His desire to extend grace and mercy was a testament to his loyalty and the deep bond he shared with Jonathan. His servants informed him about Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, who was living in Lo-debar. This revelation brought a glimmer of hope to David's quest. Mephibosheth, only a child when his father died, had fallen and become crippled in his feet. His life had been marked by tragedy and hardship from a very young age. He had been living in obscurity, far from the royal court. His existence was one of humility and seclusion, away from the grandeur of his grandfather's kingdom. David sent word to Lo-debar, requesting Mephibosheth's presence in Jerusalem. The king's message was clear and urgent, signaling a significant change in Mephibosheth's life. One can only imagine the mix of fear and anticipation Mephibosheth must have felt, being summoned by the very king whose family his grandfather had opposed. The journey to Jerusalem was not just a physical one, but an emotional and psychological one as well. When Mephibosheth arrived in Jerusalem, he fell before David in fear, expecting punishment or even death. But David's words to him were not of anger, but of extraordinary kindness. "Do not be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father, Jonathan, and I will restore to you all the land of your grandfather Saul, and you shall eat at my table always." David's words must have astonished Mephibosheth. Instead of retribution, David offered him grace and restoration. He returned to Mephibosheth all the land that had belonged to his grandfather Saul. Furthermore, he ensured that Mephibosheth would be cared for by Ziba, one of Saul's former servants, and would enjoy a life of dignity and comfort. David's kindness did not stop at material provision. He went above and beyond, inviting Mephibosheth to dine at the king's table regularly. This act elevated Mephibosheth's status, making him like one of David's own sons. It was a public declaration of acceptance and belonging, erasing any stigma associated with his family's past. Mephibosheth, who had been living in obscurity, was now welcomed into the heart of David's kingdom. This act of extravagant grace speaks volumes about David's character and his commitment to keeping his word, even to the descendants of his former enemy. The story of David and Mephibosheth is not just a beautiful story from the Old Testament, it's a powerful foreshadowing of the grace and mercy we find in Jesus Christ. This narrative is a profound illustration of how God's love and kindness transcend time, pointing us to the ultimate act of grace through Jesus. Like David, Jesus extends his hand of grace to us even though we are undeserving. His actions are a testament to the boundless compassion and mercy that he offers to all who seek him. We are all like Mephibosheth, crippled by sin and living in a state of separation from God. Our spiritual condition leaves us in a place of despair and longing for redemption. But Jesus, in his great love, seeks us out. He does not wait for us to come to him. Instead, he actively searches for us, demonstrating his relentless pursuit of our hearts. He restores us to a right relationship with God, not because of anything we have done, but because of his amazing grace. This restoration is a gift freely given, transforming our lives in ways we could never imagine. He invites us to dine at his table, to partake in the feast of his love and forgiveness. This invitation is a call to experience the fullness of life that he offers. Like Mephibosheth, we are given a place of honor and belonging in God's family. We are adopted as his children, embraced with unconditional love. The story of David and Mephibosheth reminds us that God's love is extravagant, reaching out to us even in our brokenness and shame. It is a love that heals, restores, and brings us into a new life filled with hope and grace. Are you ready to continue? Just click here and come along with me to the next chapter.